All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. You know that feeling at the end of the day where you are just completely drained? You've been running around, putting out fires, just nonstop action. But then you look at your to-do list and it's like you've barely made a dent. It's so frustrating, right? Well, you're definitely not alone. So today, we're going to break down exactly why that happens and, more importantly, give you a real practical playbook to start working smarter, not harder. Let's get right into it. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this number 168. That's it. That's how many hours are in a week. It's the one resource we all get in the exact same amount. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, this is the budget we all have to work with every single week. So that leads to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If we're all playing with the same deck, why do some people seem to get so much done while the rest of us feel like we're constantly in a race against the clock and losing? Well, I can tell you the answer isn't just to work more hours. It's about something much, much smarter. First, we've got to give the problem a name. It's called the busy trap. And it's this vicious cycle where we mistake being active for being productive. Our calendars are jam-packed, but our biggest goals, yeah, they seem to stay just out of reach. You know, that feeling of being totally overwhelmed? It's not always a sign that you have too much on your plate. A lot of the time, it's just a sign you're caught in this trap where all your hard work isn't really leading to the results you want. And that's because there are a couple of hidden forces at play, quietly sabotaging our very best intentions. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at these invisible forces, shall we? Because once you can see them, you can start to fight back. Okay, so this first hidden force isn't new. In fact, people have been talking about it for decades. It's called Parkinson's Law, and it was first written about way back in 1955 by a guy named C. Northcote Parkinson. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. Think about it. If you give yourself a whole week to do a 2-hour task, that task will magically become more complex and seem way more important, all to fill up that entire week. This is exactly why deadlines, even ones you just make up for yourself, are so incredibly powerful. Without them, tasks can stretch on forever. Now, the second hidden force is something we all deal with every single minute of the day: task switching. We like to think we're amazing multitaskers, but, well, the science tells a very different story. Every single time you jump from writing a report to checking an email to answering a text and then back again, you're paying a price, a steep, and that price has a name: resumption lag. That's the technical term for the time it takes your brain to reload all the information and get back into the groove of what you were doing before. Just think about how many times you get interrupted in a day. Each one forces you to find your place again, not just in a document, but inside your own head. And all those little lags, they add up to a massive loss of focus and time. Okay, so we know what we're up against: Parkinson's Law and the crazy cost of task switching. To beat them, we need a totally new way to think about our work. And that brings us to this absolutely crucial idea: the difference between deep work and shallow work. Deep work. This is where the real magic happens. It's that intense, focused effort on something that's really challenging, the kind of work that creates brand new value and actually makes you better at what you do. Think big strategy sessions, writing something important, or solving a really tough problem. Then there's shallow work. That's, well, it's pretty much everything else. Answering emails, booking meetings, all that low-level stuff. It has to get done for sure, but it doesn't really move the needle. Here's the key takeaway. Truly productive people don't just manage their time, they fiercely protect their ability to do deep work. So how do we actually do that? How do we go from just talking about it to actually living it? We need a framework, a simple, actionable plan we can use every day. And this image explains the goal perfectly. On the left, you've got a gardener who's working really hard, right? Watering every single plant one by one. But the gardener on the right is working smart. He took a little time up front to build a system, the sprinklers, that now does all the heavy lifting for him. You get the same result, but with way less effort and a whole lot more time freed up. So here it is. This is the system, adapted from Productivity Pro Ari Meisel. It's a dead simple 3-step framework for every single thing on your to-do list: optimize, automate, and outsource. Just remember those 3 words. This is your playbook for building that sprinkler system in your own work and life. It's how you handle all the noise so you can finally focus on what matters. All right, let's break this playbook down piece by piece with some real actions you can start taking, like today. First up, optimize. This is all about using the 80-20 rule to find the vital few things that give you the biggest bang for your buck. The 20% of your effort that's driving 80% of your results. So, for example, instead of getting buried in emails, you could create a simple filter that automatically moves all the unsubscribed stuff out of your main inbox. Or in your business, you'd figure out which few clients bring in most of the money and you'd focus on them. The goal here is to find those high-leverage activities and just go all in. Step 2. Automate. Once you've simplified a task, you ask the next question. Can a robot do this for me? The dream is to set it and forget it. Think about simple things like subscription services for household items or setting up automatic bill payments. Every single task you automate doesn't just save you time, it frees up mental energy. It's one less thing you have to think about, and you can redirect that brain power to your deep work. And finally, we have outsource. If you can't get rid of it and you can't automate it, can you give it to someone else? Now, this can be the toughest step, I know. It means letting go of a little control, but you have to keep your eye on the prize, freeing yourself up for that high-impact deep work. You don't have to go big right away. Start small. Hire a virtual assistant for a few hours to schedule your appointments or do some research. Each little task you successfully hand off frees you up for what really counts. So, now that you've used the framework to clear out the clutter, you need to protect the precious time you've reclaimed. This is where you use tools like time blocking. Literally schedule your deep work into your calendar like it's the most important meeting of the day. You could try the Pomodoro Technique, 25 minutes of pure focus, then a quick break. It's like a workout for your concentration muscle. And hey, never, ever underestimate the power of a great pair of noise-canceling headphones to create your own bubble. Of course, shallow work is never going to disappear completely, but the trick is to control it so it doesn't end up controlling you. A great strategy is task batching. So instead of answering emails all day long, you set aside maybe 1 or 2 specific times to power through your inbox all at once. Even better, schedule that kind of low-energy work for the afternoon slump and save your sharpest, most creative morning hours for the deep work that matters most. So here's the bottom line. Working smarter isn't just some nice-sounding phrase, is it? It's a set of very deliberate choices you make every single day. It's about knowing what's working against you, those hidden forces. It's about telling the difference between what's just busy work and what's truly vital. And it's about building systems to not just save your time, but to invest it in that high-impact, deep work. It's all about creating the space for what really, truly matters. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What is just one shallow task on your list right now that you can optimize, automate, or outsource tomorrow?